Hey everyone, we are going to use this cold, blistery winter day to get some inside seed starting done and a few other garden projects done this afternoon. Well, my kids are playing outside, so I only have a limited amount of time to try to get these things done, but I'm going to do the best that we can. We're going to start some tomatoes and some peppers. We're going to pot up some indoor plants that I have that need to go into a bigger pot. We're going to do a little bit more winter sowing, and we're going to start some herbs that I didn't get started yet. We'll see if we have time to do it all. It's quite the list to accomplish, but we'll try to get it done. So I do want to show you quickly outside what it looks like here in Vermont. It is cold. It is quite the day outside. The wind is blowing wicked. We've got about 2.5 feet to 3 feet of snow on the ground. So we are gonna stay inside today and do some seeds and dream about spring. All right, so I have all of my materials ready to start my tomato seeds and my pepper seeds. Let me talk about first some definitely don'ts from some things that I have learned from starting tomatoes from seed. And then let me share with you my process of how I'm gonna get this done. So first off, I wanna give you a little bit of a hint, and this is not just with tomatoes or peppers, this is with any seed. The first year that I started tomatoes from seed, I got one of those little Jiffy greenhouses, like it's a pre-made greenhouse situation, and it's got these little discs in it, and you water the discs and the soil's inside of it, and it expands into maybe like this tall of soil. And you put your seed in, kind of cover it, put the humidity dome over it, and let them germinate. If you want to start out with that, that's fine. I think it's a waste of your money. But I made the huge mistake of not realizing I shouldn't keep them in there very long. And that soil that is in those little discs, there's just not a lot of nutrients in it. And so I kept those in those little containers until I potted them up into 4-inch pots. And you could definitely tell that they were stunted because of that choice that I made. The next year I thought, well, I'm gonna use a 72 count tray, but I'm just gonna use my own seed starting mix like this one. So it's gonna be better. Still did not go as well as I would have hoped. It definitely was better than the first year, but having them in those little 72 cell count trays really just didn't give them the growth to have their roots properly develop. And it was obvious which ones I had in that tray and which ones that I hadn't. So if you want to start with a 72 count tray, go for it, but know that you need to pot them up into a 6-cell tray like this one before you even pot them up into a 4-inch tray, because they're going to need more space. These are not super wide. I just got these on Amazon. They're pretty cheap, but they're much deeper, and that's the real goal of that. So don't do what I did. So I've been going back and forth on whether I'm going to stick with a 6-cell tray situation or whether I just want to go for it and put them into 4-inch containers, because you can do either. So what you'll do with a 6-cell tray is you'll put seed starting mix in this one. You will start your seeds in here, and then after a little while, probably about 6 weeks or so, you're going to need to pot them up into 4-inch containers so that they can put on even more growth so that they can go out into the garden. Or a lot of people put them straight into 4-inch containers. They'll put potting soil in instead of the seed starting mix, and it works just fine. I'm gonna go with the 6-cell trays because it's just gonna save me a little bit of space downstairs. I'm running out of room to put things down there. And so I'm gonna start with a 6-cell for that reason. So with tomatoes, you wanna start those about 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date indoors. And with peppers, which we're going to do today as well, you want to start those about 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost date. Now, right here in Vermont, where I am, my last frost date is May 12th. So we are actually 12 weeks before last frost date. So I'm starting these a little bit early, but I want to share with you why. First of all, I am starting these for myself and for my own personal garden. I'll probably have about 25 to 30 tomato plants between my field and my greenhouse. But I also am going to be selling these starts at my roadside stand. They were a huge hit last year. Tomato and pepper starts both were a huge hit. Last year I sold out of everything, didn't have enough. So I'm going to start a lot more this year for the roadside stand. So I'm starting for my own personal garden and the roadside stand right now. So I think with each of these varieties, I'm probably going to start maybe 12 plants, and I'll keep a few of each for myself. So the first reason I'm starting kind of early is because I want them to be bigger than they need to be to go out in the garden. I want them to be really lush, and you can tell that they're a good plant because they're going to be out on the roadside stand. So that's the reason that I'm starting them early, is because we are actually leaving in a few days to go on vacation. And so we have somebody coming over who's going to watch all the animals and water my seedlings and everything. But normally what I would do is put these seeds in the tray, put them on a heat mat, and then put plastic wrap over the top that kind of acts like a humidity dome. And once they're about 50% germinated, I'll take the plastic wrap off, let the rest germinate normally. I do not want her to have to worry about that. I don't want her to wonder, if she's taking the humidity dome or the plastic wrap off at the right time, those kinds of things. So I'm still gonna put them over top of heat mats, but I'm not gonna put the plastic wrap over the top. And it's going to take them a little bit longer to germinate. Most of them should be germinated by the time I get back, but I am starting them early purposely because they're going to germinate slower because we're not going to be here. So let me share with you the varieties of tomatoes that I'm going to start this year. The first is the Crimson Sprinter. So this is an early tomato from M.I. Gardner. And we got our first tomato on this plant before the end of July, which is very early for Vermont. You never get a tomato before August, at least in the part of Vermont that I'm in. So it really did live up to its name to be, they kind of call it like the 4th of July tomato. And down south, that is when you will get a tomato like this if you're in a warmer climate. Another one is Aroma tomato. I will use these for sauces, but I will also use them just to eat. We like these in salads. We like to cut them up. I also got a Cherokee purple tomato. I wanted just something that was kind of unique. I wanted something that was a little bit bulky, and I kind of like it when it has the indentures on it, on the sides of it. It's just really pretty. So I wanted just a unique tomato this year to have for that. I got the Cherrylicious mixed tomato, which these are mixed plants of red, orange, yellow, green, and purple cherry tomatoes. So we're gonna give it a shot. I haven't done this before, but I thought it would be really pretty to be able to have some of all of the colors and either have them in a salad, or also if I sell them on the roadside stand, to have in a little basket, all of the tomatoes mixed in would be really cool. I also normally get a Sweet 100's cherry tomato, and I'm not sure if I didn't get it or if I misplaced it. So I might have to come back and start those, but I'm not gonna start those today because I don't know where they are if I have them. An Amish paste tomato, these are specifically for sauces. So I will use those for that and for freezing. And then a beefsteak tomato, just fantastic for sandwiches, and even just to, some people like to take these beefsteaks off of the vine and put some salt on them and just eat them. I'm not quite that into tomatoes, but so there's my tomatoes. And then also my peppers. So instead of getting a mixed variety, which what I normally do every year, I picked out the colors that I wanted this year. And so this year we're doing Golden Cow Wonder Bell, Big Red Bell, and Purple Beauty Bell. And I think that will be really cool. I have 25 seeds of the yellow, 50 of the red, and 15 of the purple. So I will get probably most of those planted. Keep maybe 25 of them for myself, and then the rest will go out on the roadside stand. So first thing I'm going to do before I put my seed starting mix in is that I'm going to label all of these labels so I have them all ready to go. So this is my little trick of the trade, that instead of buying seed, I don't know, tray holders, I guess you would call them. I'm not actually sure what they're called. I put my trays in here. They're just 11 by 19, I think. Actually, they may be 14 by 19. Aluminum pans from Walmart. And there are 2 of them for $4. And so that's what I put in there. So I water, sometimes I water from the top depending on what it is. And sometimes I water on the sides to fill all the water in at the bottom, and it'll soak that water right through. So that's how I get that done efficiently. Now it is time to fill all of these packs up. So I have pre-moistened my soil, put water in the seed starting mix. And when I squeeze it, there's no water coming out, but it also holds a form. And that's the exact stage that I want it in. So I filled it up once, then I kind of push my fingers down in and I fill it up again to make sure it's nice and full. Because if you don't have it full, then you can have some air pockets and things can settle, things like that. So I'm gonna get all these filled up with this tray first, and then I'll start planting. This tray full, and I have my labels done, which is really nice because I don't need to calculate through and think about it. I'm just going to put them right in. I'm going to start with my peppers first, I think. I have, let's see how many peppers I have going in here. Quite a few. I'm going to have one little pepper tray in the tomato mix, which is fine. That's not a problem. I have one more red pepper to do. So I'm going to start with my purple tomato. I got to remember how far down I do this. Let's see, 1/4 of an inch. So not very much. I love these packets from MI Gardener. So they're really easy to open, and then they have this little sticky part on the back of them, so you can just fold it back down and it'll stick, which is really nice. These, I'm going to use all of these today. Get them all? Nope, I sure didn't. I'll come back for them. Okay, so I'm just gonna make the tiniest little indenture, teeny tiny, because it's only 1/4 of an inch, so it's not very much. All right, there's all my pepper ones. And plop them right down into these holes. And I am just putting 1 per cell. Do I have a germination rate on this? I do not have a germination rate. I might, hold on. No, I do not have a germination rate on this. That's okay. So some of your seed packets will have a germination rate on them, like 40%. Well, hopefully it wouldn't be 40% because that would be really bad germination rate. 80%, 92%, things like that. So the higher your germination rate, the less seeds that you need to put per cell, because most likely those seeds are going to germinate. I'm not sure what this one is, but I'm sure that it's pretty good. MI Gardener, I really like him, and I like his seeds. Almost done. And a couple left in here that I gotta get out. There they are. Whoops. Put 2 in that one, I didn't mean to. Oh, nice. I get more than 15. Very nice. I got 17. Sometimes that happens. All right, then I'm just going to use my fingers to slide some soil back on top of them. Like this. And once everything is done this right, we're going to then I will water everything. Give it a little more drink. Onto the yellow. next thing I'm gonna do is plant these herbs. I'm gonna plant a little bit at a time. I don't really need to do this yet, but I wanna go ahead and get started on it so they can be nice and big and bushy for the roadside stand. And also, y'all, this would have been terrible. I almost forgot about my lunchbox peppers that I got from Johnny's. I made like a special order to get just a few things, and this was one of the things. So I'm gonna plant these lunchbox pepper mix. They're like just mini sweet peppers as well. And I'm gonna do 2 trays of those, so I'll have 12 plants. So that'll be good. So let's get that started. Sure wondering what I do while I'm getting all this done, because this has taken me almost an hour so far. I do the same thing that you do. I'm watching and listening to YouTube. So we got almost 3 full trays done. This tray over here has 1 less in it because I was almost out of seed starting mix and I didn't have enough to fill another one, and I didn't want to open another bag just to fill that up. So each tray has 10 of these 6-packs in it. So almost 36 packs. And I filled all of that up with 1 bag of seed starting mix. There was 12 quarts of seed starting mix soil. And so 12 quarts-ish of that will make 30 of these 6-packs. So that's pretty good. I like that. Definitely cheaper than going to the garden center and getting them all completely grown up. So I'm pretty proud of this. They're gonna go down into the basement on top of heat mats, get watered in really good. So the next thing we're gonna do is get some of our indoor plants potted up. I only have 2 that I really wanna pot up that I'm a little bit worried about, and I think that potting them up will hopefully help. So we will see. Let me show them to you so that you can see what they look like. My kids just came from inside playing in the snow, and that's what the kitchen looks like. So the first one is this Christmas cactus. It's been doing really well, but it's definitely getting a little bit too small for this pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and pot that up, and I'm actually just gonna use this pot right here because it's just a little bit bigger. And I actually try to put all of my house plants into ceramic pots just so that they all match. And then the other one is over here, and this one's really funky. This one is on the windowsill. It's a ZZ plant. And ZZ plants are just supposed to be the easiest things ever to take care of. But this one is not doing so hot. I got it from Home Depot, and as you can see, it is just these leaves are really struggling. Let me move this. As you can see, these leaves are really struggling. Not really sure what to do. I'm gonna pot it up and see if it will help it a little bit and see if that's better. These leaves look good. And then I think I'm gonna trim it really good. I'm basically gonna cut all these leaves off and just kind of freshen it up a little bit. Could have been a little bit shocked from coming home from the store and just freaked out a little bit. There is nothing too overcomplicated about this. It's as simple as putting in some seeds. There is nothing overcomplicated about this. This is as simple as putting in some indoor potting soil and putting it into this bigger container. I hope that they'll be happy. I also found some little saucers downstairs too that I didn't really know I had. Ooh, does not want to come out there. Aha, I see. I see the problem. I may have to cut that out actually. It has roots coming out from underneath. It is really tight in there. And it is not going to loosen up. It is definitely not happy in there at all. It's not doing good. It doesn't have room to grow. Isn't that a life lesson for us? That's what I love about plants. They're full of life lessons. And this lesson is, you have to have room to grow. Oh man, look at that. Oh, this poor thing. I'm gonna just loosen those up a little bit so that it's like, you're free now, you're free. And look how much damage that did to that though. That's sad. All right, we're gonna put it in here. Make sure it's right there, nice and tight. Cover the top up. Really good. All right, now I'm gonna get to cutting because I'm not happy with most of this. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and cut here. And I don't know if I'm doing this wrong or right. This one I'm gonna do differently. I'm just gonna pull the leaf, do just a few of the leaves. And we'll see what happens with that. I'm gonna get my watering can. Give it quite the drink. And it might not be very accepting of it first, but we'll see. All right, there we go. There's our first one. It looks pretty sad right now, but hopefully we've saved it. And then the next one, I really have enjoyed this Christmas cactus. It is really cute. I'm gonna pull off the dead leaves. Dead flowers, sorry. And it's always, all the time, it's got little buds coming off. All the time. It's got new things coming, which has been really fun. I didn't know that. I really didn't know it would do that. But again, it's definitely, oh yeah, look at this one. There's some more coming out. It is ready to get potted up. And Christmas cactuses, they can get huge. And I mean, last forever. There are people who have Christmas cactuses that are decades old that they've passed down from person to person, which is really neat. So I'm excited to see. This is quite the project because I want to keep it going for as long as I possibly can. Oh man, that even looks better. Nice. Okay, same thing. Gonna give it a nice drink. Let it get settled in its new home. Very nice. Put it in its saucer. And there it is again. Isn't it pretty? I just love it. I think it's so cute. And I'm putting this right back on the windowsill, right where it was. It's a nice little spot for it. Happens to be in the shade right now, but most of the time it has sun in the late afternoon. Then we're gonna put our ZZ plant back where it goes. I think they like sun from everything that I've read. They like sun. So we're gonna keep it there and let it grow. See how it does. So the last thing that we're gonna do today is a little bit more winter sowing. Not very much, just 2 things. I've got some purple coneflower or echinacea, and I've got a little bit more pansies left. So I was just gonna sprinkle some of these on the top, especially the echinacea. There is a lot that you can use echinacea for in the garden. And I didn't want to just give up on these pansy seeds. I have a lot of pansies sown downstairs in some 6-packs, but I just wanted to go ahead and finish up the pack and do it this way and see how well it does. There we go. So I have a milk jug with some holes on the bottom. I've cut this in half and put some potting soil on it. And now I'm going to close it up with some masking tape. And if you want to learn more about winter sowing, you want to see me do all my winter sowing, you can go back to a couple of previous videos, and I did a whole winter sowing video, but we are going to get this all tightened up. Oh, don't forget your tag. Oh, this was pansies. There we go. Perfect. Everyone, this has been a lovely afternoon of planting. Spring feels very far away to me because we've got about 2.5 feet of snow on the ground. It's windy and cold outside. It feels very distant, but it's coming, and doing little things like this remind me that it's coming. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found some inspiration or you learned something new today. If you enjoyed it, I hope you give me a thumbs up and you would hit that subscribe button. You can follow along with more garden content. Right now I have a huge mess that I need to clean up. So I'm gonna do that before I grab myself some lunch. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next time. Bye.